We're here at Edward Christian Barbecue in Bremen, where I am the pit master and the barbecue man, and making some killer Cajun. Today we are going to make some great dishes for parties and going out and getting with your friends and everything. It's pasta salad, a potato salad, and a really good healthy dessert even the kids will eat. So we'll get started when we come right back. Okay, now we're back. First thing we're going to make is a pasta salad, and we're just going to use the medium shell pasta, and I'm going to cheat because of time. I don't need to tell you how to make pasta shells, just like I don't need to tell you how to make rice. So I've already got that done because of timing, so that was all set, ready to go. I make mine al dente, just a little firm, so when I fold them around and work with them, they don't break. And then we're going to make that. I like tossing my stuff in a big bowl. So we're going to make a really nice pasta salad here. So we've got some basil, some green onions, got some fresh Parmesan, and a shallot. Let's just call that a cross between garlic and onion. And we got some little mini peppers, some sweets, and we're going to throw in some onion powder, some garlic, some celery salt, some sun-dried tomatoes. We've got a lot going on with that. I'm going to throw a glove on here so I get into those sun-dried tomatoes. They're going to be a little wicked. So these peppers here are nice. You just got to take the tops off. You don't have to worry about the seeds or anything. And we're just going to dice this thing up. And instead of a creamy style pasta salad, we're going to make one with a bruschetta dressing, which I'm not going to take the time to make the dressing off the shelf. I like getting you to do things off the shelf so you can recognize what it is. You feel more comfortable about doing it because you don't have to make a vinaigrette or you don't have to make a salad dressing that is so complicated. So we're just going to dice these up in different sizes and shapes just to get some chunkiness going on in there. And the nice thing about the off-the-shelf stuff is when you're in a hurry, instead of you buying the stuff at the deli section or something, you can actually go, well, I remember that, or I've seen him do that, or that's not so hard. All I got to do is make the pasta, and then we're just going to throw our own dressing on. Or, hey, I really like, excuse me, I really like cranberries. We're going to put cranberries in it, dried cranberries or anything. So I'm giving you a base to start on and to start get creating your own things, and you can take what components I'm putting in or take out what you want, add what you want. But if it's off the shelf, like there's the sun-dried tomatoes off the shelf, everything. So you can be a little bit more confident about doing it. And anytime you can involve the kids, if they're home, get them in the kitchen, get them cooking, that's a good thing too. The family, we were doing the Harvest Show once a week now, live, and we were doing one last week and talked about the family and keeping families together and, the spiritual side of that and everything. And it's just like the kitchen's the foundation of your home, and that's where you should be. And you'll find out when people come over, you're usually in the kitchen or really close to it. And that's where I like to get my children involved and spend time with them in there. So I'm just going to mince this one up a little finer. These are pretty strong. You don't need a lot. Pretty strong. They do have a little bit of that garlicky flavor, but then you got a little bit of oniony flavor. Now our Parmesan, this is where it's aged and they take the coating off the side. That dark part there is really good. It's going to be too hard sometimes for you to use. Then I save that and I put it in sauces and stews. It's really good. Melts down, gives it a good flavor. Take our green onions. I'm going to take the tops off. As we go down to the white, they get hotter. So I keep saying that, but I don't want to keep letting you know what's going on. This isn't strong at all. Now it's going to start getting stronger. And this is about as hot as it gets, right down in the whites. The little heat never hurt anybody, does it? I had a little joke to one of the guys who was complaining about the Caribbean spicy pasta dish a minute ago. So get that going. Okay, these sun-dried tomatoes are really nice. They pack them in an oil, which isn't going to hurt. The one thing about the oil, though, is this is why I have my gloves on. It's going to be pretty red, and it is going to stain. So you want to make sure you don't get that on your clothes or anything like that, because it's pretty rich. But we're going to dice that up, and I'm going to break this down to about a good 3/4 cup. They're not too firm. They're nice, vibrant, a little bit of chewiness to them, but get a good flavor, and you're going to pick up all that flavor from that oil that's in there too. And my good color's going on in here. I like a big bowl. You want it, the bigger you can get, the better. That way you're not hurting anything, and you're going to meld your flavors together better. So I got rid of that. I can get that off. Minced garlic right here, already done in the jar for time, and as much as I use. I put a couple teaspoons of that in there. And then we got some celery salt, which is, instead of the chunks of celery, I'm just going to put a little salt in there, which is 1 teaspoon. I want to just make sure I get that all around, not in one big clump. A little onion powder. Well, now that's onion powder, shallots. I got a lot going on with the oniony flavor, but that's going to meld in there really nice. Put a teaspoon of that in there. One thing about this, if you use it in sauces or anything like that, make sure you whisk it up good. It's kind of like flour. As soon as it hits water, it turns into a big lump of junk. Got some fresh basil. I'm going to chop that all up. This I'm going to leave kind of long, like little strings. And I love basil, so it's all personal preference of how much you use. I'm going to use about a 1/2 cup of it, and it's loosely done, so just use what you like. You can grow this at home, and when the weather's proper, if you don't have a garden, just put it in a pot. It grows great on a pot. Just stick it on the porch. You can go out there and pick a leaf and add it to a dish, and it's just wonderful. Just really, really good. The dries, if you gotta use dry is fine, but in this application, you're not really going to get a lot of taste out of that dry. It's just too far gone by then. It's okay in a hot dish where the heat's going to open up the dried herb and give it a little more flavor. Okay, so now I've got 6 ounces of our Parma, and I'm going to use a bigger grate here, so I don't have to chase it around and pick it up off the floor. I'm just going to grate it right in the bowl. I want the bigger pieces. Now you can go longer, slower, and get long strands, or you go sideways faster and you get small ones. But just big chunks of it is going to be just what we want. A lot of Parma in there, that's going to be a ton of flavor. Just grind it down to that hard spot like I showed you. Just keep it right, and then we're going to keep that for a different dish. There we go. Okay, now I have just an off-the-shelf dressing. I chose a bruschetta, Italian bruschetta dressing. It's really good. Got a lot of flavor in itself. I'm going to put a 3/4 cup in there, and we're going to fold that around. Get my folding utensil. I got everything in there. You just want to make sure you just get it pushed all around. Don't go in there with a metal spoon, because then you'll start cutting and breaking up your pasta. So I'm just going to toss that all around, mix it up really well. This one you can do the night before. You can, it'll be good for, 5 days. I wouldn't go any more than 5 days with your food. The rule's 7 days, but depending on your refrigeration, as we've talked before, your refrigerator has to be at least 40 degrees. I run mine all at like 36. And as much as the kids are in and out of it, it's working. So we got that all tossed around. Get a little plate. Put some of this on there, and I will get cleaned up and come back and get ready for our other dish as I drop it on the counter. If you want, you can top that up with a little more parm or some more basil. That's good to go. We'll be right back. Okay, now now we're back. We got our pasta salad done. We're going to make a potato salad now. And again, I'm cheating by getting the potatoes done because I don't have an extra 20 minutes. So I got 2 pounds of red skin potatoes here. What I did is I cooked those, boiling water, till they're about 75% cooked, and splash them down in ice water to stop the cooking process so they'll stay firm. So you just want them, you don't want them to mush down or break down too much and turn into mashed potatoes, but then again you don't want them hard as a rock either. So when they're in there and you think they're just about ready, as the skin starts to split and as you know you see some of that going on, then I'll just stick them with a toothpick or a probe like my thermometer, and if I can feel that they're still a little soft but firm, then I'll pull them out. So we're just, then the ice water stops the cooking, so we'll chill them down. Then we're just going to take those and chunk them all up. We're going to use a yogurt today. I like using yogurt as much as I can instead of mayonnaise because it's so much healthier. It's a lighter in color, in flavor, and it's not as thick, you know, but you can add a lot of flavors to it if you get a plain yogurt, or you can use flavored depending on the dish you're doing. It gives you a little bit more range, and I think you can get away from that mayo, eggy, heavy taste, and you know the calorie situation and the health aspect also is a lot better. So I like the profile of being able to really enhance your spices and things with the yogurt, and then have the benefit of the healthiness of it for your digestive system. And I do a lot of that with yogurt. So what we're going to do is get these cut up, and we got 3 green onions there, and we're going to add those to the bowl, and we've got some celery. We're going to just add a couple stalks of that and dice it up. I chose the tandoori spice that I've used in the past for the flavor here to go with the yogurt. If you don't like tandoori or you don't have it, another good one would be paprika, or you can use curry if you like curry. You can use chili powder and some cumin. You can do a Tex-Mex version with that, and just pick anything. You can just, I'd like to get away from the plain mustard style or just plain mayonnaise style of potato salad. It's bringing something new to the table, and I think if you're going to take these dishes to parties, or you're going to have your own party or something, you're going to get noticed, and you're going to have a lot of pop, a nice pop of flavor there going on when you make your own, and you can have your choices of the spices you use. So just again, try it, give you a baseline here of a couple things, and you can put your own spin on it. Don't use a lot of salt. I let the other spices and herbs and things speak for themselves. So that's another healthy situation with the heart situations and the blood pressures and the obesity and all that. Anytime you can get rid of any salt, doesn't even matter if it's just a couple shakes on your food, you're going to be better off in the long run. So do some dishes a lot of times, and they taste, wow, you got a lot of flavor going on in there. And I'm like, yeah, there's no salt in there. And as we've talked in the past too, when you're choosing your product and your vegetables and things, get frozen ones instead of the ones in the can, because you will have 0 sodium, and it's a lot healthier for you. And being healthy, you don't have to be some crazed health nut, go hug a tree and scream healthy, healthy, healthy. Just make smart choices. I mean, just choose whatever you want to. Instead of the can, choose the frozen bag of the corn, let's say. And it's going to taste the same. In fact, it's going to taste better frozen, because now you have a plain corn profile that you can do anything you want to. You get it out of the can, and it has so much sodium and stuff, preservatives and things going on, that you're battling that. You're trying to compensate for all of that saltiness, and you can't bring through your own flavor. Hence butter. If you get butter, get unsalted butter. There's no reason that you have to have salt in your butter. If you want salt in your butter for whatever application you're doing, then go ahead and add the salt, but have the right, or have the ability to add your own salt content, not be tied down by the manufacturer's salt content, because one day you might shop at one store and get the butter, the next time you go somewhere else, and different manufacturers have different amounts of salt. So you're going to change your profile of your food every time you switch salt. Every time butter How much salt's in this one? Well, whose is that? Well, how come this tastes so salty this time? Well, whose butter did you use? Just go ahead and use unsalted butter, and you can add the flavors to it without even having salt if you don't want. So we just peeled and seeded out, quartered and diced a cucumber. We're going to do 2 celery sprigs here. And make sure you always wash your produce, which I did earlier and shook all that out. It's, even though it's in a bag, it's been handled a lot. You don't know what field it came from, what animals were in there. It only takes a few seconds. If you just think about it, I got some people that couldn't just wrap their mind around washing it because they were in such a hurry until I told them about, well, how many animals were in that field, why that was growing, and what did they do to it. So that kind of gave them a little eerie feeling that they finally did realize that, yeah, I don't even want to know what happened in the field, so they started washing their stuff. So it's a good thing. So here I've got some Creole mustard. You can use yellow mustard. It's not the main player here. I'm just going to put 2 teaspoons in there. Just want a little bit of that flavor. I would use a dry mustard. Okay, why do you use dry mustard? Well, dry mustard is a powder form. It will give you the mustard flavor without the vinegar. So if you look on the back of a mustard container, you're going to see it has vinegar and some other stuff in it. And you don't want that. You just want the mustard flavor. Then you use dry. And with the dry, it would go okay with the yogurt, but it wouldn't have long enough time to meld with the yogurt to where it would come out by itself. So I'm going to just use a little bit of Creole, and then I have a teaspoon of the tandoori spice that we'd mentioned before, and I'm going to take a cup of yogurt. I'm going to whisk this up in the bowl. Now if I would take the powdered product and sprinkle it in there, I might get a clump of the dry spice all in one place, and then when I go to mix it up, it's not going to meld and blend well through the dish. So we're going to mix this all up in here, 1 cup of yogurt, and then this way it'll all melt together and blend well, and then when we pour it in there, it will go ahead and mix well, and then your flavors will be continuously throughout the dish. So we're just going to whip that up. And anytime you can do this, let it sit. The longer it sits, the more the flavors meld together. That color comes from the spice and the mustard. That's normal. And anytime you're making dishes, and if you're not familiar with them or you haven't done them before, taste. Taste, taste, taste. You got to constantly taste. That's why I use so many plastic spoons. I taste so much that my dishwasher would kill me if I didn't, because I'll go through 20, 30 spoons in just one of these shows. So, and put that in there. Like doing it in a big bowl. We're going to fold that around gently because we don't want to bust up the potatoes, because those red skin potatoes, the skin's already popping and cracking, and you don't want to just beat them all down and have a mashed potato. Now I encourage you not to throw any salt in here, but you can do what you want. I'm going to put some fresh ground pepper in there, which I absolutely love pepper about as much as I like hot sauce. So you have alternatives to salt. If you're going to do salt, that's fine. I'm not saying you can't have salt. I use a salt. In the culinary world, you got to use salt. Choose wisely. So I use a lot of kosher. Kosher salt is pure salt. It's kosher. Not the religious aspect of kosher, but just the manufacturing aspect of the shape, the way it's made. It melts. It does great. It's clean. It's pure. Iodized salt, if you look, is infused with potassium or iodine and all that as a mineral supplement. I don't need a mineral supplement. I want purity, so I will go with kosher salt or sea salt, or my favorite Murray River salt from Australia, which is extremely pure. It's like an apricot an apricot flavor. It's awesome, but it's unbelievably expensive. So if you're gonna, just get the cleanest, purest you can get, and again, give yourself the opportunity to make out of that dish, even the salt, what you want to, by having it pure and clean. Then you can do whatever you want with it. So there you go. There's a nice potato salad. And when we come back, I'm going to make a quick, easy dessert that's great and healthy. The kids will even love it. So I'm going to get this cleaned up and I'll be right back. Okay, now we're back. We got our potato salad done. Now we're going to make a simple dessert. And the great thing about the dessert is you can get the kids to wrap their mind around it because you're using one of their favorite things, chocolate chip granola bars. I mean, who don't love chocolate chip granola bars? I mean, as healthy as granola bars can get. There you go. So what we're going to do is we're just going to chop these up and put them in your serving dish. And we're going to put a vanilla flavored yogurt in there. Yes, yogurt's come into play again. The kids need it too. We sometimes do the frozen yogurt. In fact, my pilot show was an off-the-bus school treat. We did granola bars with frozen yogurt and some bananas and things. So, I mean, it was great for the kids. So we're just going to chop these up. We're going to put like 1.5 in a container. We're just going to top it with a little bit of the vanilla yogurt, and then we're going to put some fresh blackberries on there. And I've done this before with the raspberries too. Raspberries and blackberries, they go great together, but fortunately there was none in the marketplace today, so we're just going to use the blackberries. And so you can buy it in a bag, but I noticed when I bought it in a bag before, as weird as it might be with some of the children, they didn't think it was the same thing. So if they see me doing this, then they realize that, oh, that's just our granola bar, that's good. So it's kind of funny like that, at least at my house. As long as I'll eat it, if I have to chop it up like that, that's fine. And yes, they are that weird sometimes. I mean, I don't often tell stories, but my family is so spoiled with Daddy's cooking. Not only is it made to order every single night for all my children, but now they're arguing over the pasta for the mac and cheese. One wants the shells, one wants the macaroni, one wants straight pasta. And you make one big pot of mac and cheese with shells, and the other one's mad because he doesn't want it because it's not the right shape. It's like, whew. But I did it to myself, and I love him to death, so I don't mind. It's funny to talk about, though. That's about how crazy it gets sometimes there. So we're just going to chop that up. I mean, this is simple. And you're asked, well, he only made one plate of those. Why is he making 4 glasses of dessert? Because my crew's 4 guys, and I can go scoop this out of the bowl and give them some more, but I don't want them fighting over one bowl. They're just like a bunch of little kids out there. They'll be pulling at it. Next thing you know, I got a broken dish, and I'm going to have to put one of them in timeout. So that's why we do that. I love my guys. We have fun. Okay, so just top that with a little bit. You know, they'll just think it's almost like ice cream. And I think I've got that mint back there. A little fresh mint would be great on there. They're going to get their crunch, their chocolate, and their fresh berry. It's really good. And I goobered. The vanilla flavor gives it another great dimension of taste in there because instead of just a plain yogurt, they get that vanilla taste. So it's just like, I tell them, it's just like vanilla ice cream. It's just not cold. It's not all the way cold. There you go. I don't know if my mint's behind me or not, but I'm going to take a quick peek. It might be in the bag. Don't have to count the berries, do I, guys? In case one of you might have one berry than the other guy. I don't have to get that extreme, do I? There's my mint. Yep, no mistaking for that. Give that a little fresh piece. There we go. The mint might throw the kids a little, but the adults, I'm sure they'll be fine with it. Another thing too is you do different fruits and things. You can add a little lime zest in there on the top, little orange zest, and little different flavors. I'll set that over there. There, now everybody should be happy. There's 4 of them. Okay, now let's slide our other dishes in. So we made a really nice salad there with the pasta, you know, and we got a really good potato salad going on there. That was pretty simple. It gave you a lot of avenues with that potato salad to go to with your spices of your favorite choices. In here, with you could add the fresh tomatoes. We did the sun-dried tomatoes, just a little bit more shelf-stable, and fresh tomatoes will break down, and you'll get the tomato meat, and you'll get the seeds everywhere. So we chose the sun-dried in there with fresh basil, which really makes it pop, and a great grated Parmesan. So that's going to be really good. And then the potato salad, yogurt, again, healthy, no salt, good cucumber in there for a coolie crunch, nice potato salad, some tandoori spice, got a little green onion in there, so that's going really well. And then we just done our dessert. So the kids can see their granolas in there. We got a little bit of goodness on the top and some fresh berries. It's going to just explode when they bite into that. It's going to be really well. So give all these a try. These are going to be great for you to take to parties. You can make, if this one here, if you're going to take it to a party, get yourself your glass like Pyrex pan, your 9 by 13. Lay the granola down on the bottom, cover the top with the yogurt, and you can sprinkle all your fruit on the top, pop it in the refrigerator until you're ready to leave. And if you're going far, make sure you get that in a cooler. And just throw your fruit, and boom, you're good. And then everybody can go out there and just scoop out a spoon of it and on their plate for a party. That'd be a great thing to do. So when you do travel with your dishes, make sure they're always cold enough. You want to definitely keep them on ice. Make sure they're cold, especially in the heat. That's where you see problems, the transporting of the food. So make sure you keep that nice and cold in a secure area so it doesn't flop and roll all over in the back seat like everybody knows it's happened before. Okay, check me out on Facebook, see where I'm at. I'm on the road almost every weekend smoking. Come out, try our good smoked food, and come on the restaurant, get some of our killer Cajuns.